What's up, Stormtroopers? Brent Cook here. I'm doing another donation deck today. I figured why not? Had so much fun in the first one. We are playing TonyScapone's Ruby Storm. If you're interested in watching Tony's content, Tony streams on Twitch. You can check Tony out at twitch.tv/TonyScapone with an E, not a Y. But this is Tony's Ruby Storm deck. Tony's championed this deck for a while. Tony made an adjustment to the deck at the last second, including 2 copies of Chandra. I'm not a big fan of this card. It's a little too memey for my personal taste, but Tony wants me to play it. We'll see how it goes today. Maybe I'll be proved wrong. Like, that's something that happens. I am not perfect. I certainly misplay quite a bit, and sometimes I'm wrong about card evaluations. It happens. So, this list is actually pretty close to the Epic Storm. Tony calls it Tony's Epic Ruby Storm or something like that. Uh, how dare he, right? How dare he? So this deck doesn't play bonus round, and that's because it runs a bunch of artifacts. Sorry, I just ate dinner. Something in my throat. So like Mox Opal, Chrome Mox, Ruby Medallion being one of the key artifacts. Like Ruby Medallion essentially takes the slot of Wishclaw Talisman in this deck for artifact count. No copies of Defense Grid in the main deck, which imagine if these Chandras were Ruby or were defense grids. Uh, Probably be a little bit better. Like one of the problems I have with a lot of like deck lists that I see is combo players are really focused on like I'd want to do my sweet thing, but there's never enough interaction. Like the reason why Ant and TS have lasted so long is that they're able to interact. They're not glass cannons. So one of the things about cutting bonus round is you're less good against interaction because you can't just plow through. So when you look at Ruby Storm lists that don't have bonus round, you're really weak to a force of will, and that's what it comes down to. This list just doesn't have a lot of interaction, but hopefully we don't have to worry about that. Like maybe we'll get paired against Maverick 5 rounds in a row or something. Um, but I do like protection in my combo list, and I'm not trying to bash Tony's list. I am just saying things that I generically like about combo decks. So I am a fan of the Act on Impulse. I did not like Light Up the Stage in the list that I played this week on the YouTube channel. So a big fan of Act on Impulse. I actually did like the what is it called? See if I can quickly find it. Ignite the Future. I actually liked this when I was playing it. So a little surprised to not see that in this list. But maybe the deck doesn't need it. Like that's entirely possible. One thing that I do really, really enjoy about this list, and I am not joking, I like the 2 copies of Echo of Aeons. I think that is a great inclusion. I wanted those in that last video I did. I really do like that. Chandra is sort of a meme, and like I said, I'm not a big fan of memes, but the idea is that it's uncounterable against blue decks, so it kind of takes up that protection slot, but it's also win con. The problem is that, like, it's slow, so it's not actually that great of a win con, and it's only good if your opponent's playing, like, blue-white miracles. They don't have any life gain, so there's no Uro. They can't swords their own angel tokens. Like, I'm not a big fan, but I hope I'm wrong. Tendrils, I think, is a little bit better in the list without bonus round because you're less likely to just go bananas. Peer into the Abyss is a huge draw spell, which is obviously good. So the thing about this list is that it's really weak to like a Leovold, Narset sort of effect Hull Breacher. Act on Impulse and Bergie are ways around that, so I do like that. But Echo says draw, Pier says draw, Manamorpho says draw. Just pointing those things out. So does Reforge the Soul. So you have Empty and Piff in the board. I don't think the sideboard Rite of Flame makes a whole lot of sense in lists without bonus round. Like, if you're not going to play bonus round, all 4 right should be in the main deck. So I'd like to see that change out of Tony in the future. I think that it's probably just where you want to be. I don't love Past in Flames, and like I'm not saying that as a meme, but it's good with Rite of Flame, Seething Song, and Manamorphose. But you don't have that many cards to flashback. Like there's no real cantrips in this list. Things get exiled. Jessica's Will isn't a reliable ritual. Yeah, and I guess Jessica's Will is another way of beating Narset, so that's good. I do enjoy how this list cleaned up a lot of those like clunky removal spells in the main deck out of the other list. So there's no Bolt, there's no Fiery Confluence, that sort of thing. You do have Chandra to clear something like Meddling Mage if for some reason it landed in game 1. And then we see Engineered Explosives in the sideboard to deal with Deafening Silence instead of Ratchet Bomb. I have no strong preference on that. They both seem fine to me. I do enjoy how this sideboard has a cleaner wish package. I'm a fan of a shorter wish package that's a little less idealistic. Well, like a lot of people when they build their wish boards include like 15 one-ups that are all situationally really good. The problem with that is like you might use a one in every 20 leagues. And that's not worth it to me. I'd rather have cards I use more frequently. So things like a Braid I value quite highly. Same thing with Defense Grid. Explosives is similar. So this list has a lot of things I like about it. Unfortunately, Engineering Explosives does not deal with No Rod. So that's one of the reasons the Epic Storm doesn't play it. Those are my thoughts on the deck. I might be right on some, I might be wrong on some. Who knows? But we're going to play some sweet, sweet Ruby Storm action today. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you do, please make sure to like, subscribe, etc. You can do that below. And while you're down there, make sure to check out the description for all of our social channels. Join the Stern community. It's pretty awesome, I promise. But that's enough of me blabbering for now. Let's play some sweet Magic the Gathering. Welcome to round number 1 of TonyScapone's Ruby Storm. We are on the play facing Lethal Biscotti. Our opponent is known for playing a wide variety of decks, so we're not going to pigeonhole them. This hand seems fine-ish. We'll try it out. We have turn 2 Burgi. We could even try to play Horn on turn 3 if we want. Or if we draw an artifact, we can cast Horn on turn 2, discard the Echo, which seems pretty sweet. Additional discard outlets for Echo are always valued. And our opponent is mulliganed. Urza Echo, really? Come on. I hate this deck so much. Yep. Karn the Great Creator. So I guess Horn is an artifact. So does our opponent not have an Ancient Tomb or City in their hand is one of the questions that I ask here. I guess I could try to win, so I'd most likely have 4 cards to work with. Because we're probably going to want to play out these artifacts. I think I'm playing Horn. Horn being an artifact is kind of nice for Mox Opal. That was not something I had considered. Alright, so Manamorphose does not draw cards. I'd just like to point that out. It is Freestorm count, and that is it. Let's discard the Petal. Ruby Medallion. Burning Wish. There we go. Alright, so what can we do here? This Chromox has nothing to imprint. But it could if I find something... Or no, Manamorphose doesn't draw cards. That's right. Yeah, we really wanted to hit more mana. So there's like next to no reason for not putting the Morphos in the graveyard. Like, it's pretty free. This is unfortunate. So it's Ruby Medallion or Burning Wish for random card that we can't use this turn. Like, we could go get Grape Shot, so that way, if they minus the Narset, we could theoretically Grape Shot it. I'm just going to play the Ruby Medallion. Try to win on the back of Horn. Because we're not beating Karn anyway. Unfortunately, double Burning Wish gone. And they have the tomb anyway. Nothing matters. We don't have any outs here. They're going to turn our land into an artifact and then we can't tap it. Guess we just pass. They can start blowing up our lands on their turn. I don't agree with going after Ancient Doom, but what do I know? Act on Impulse is a live draw for us, but it'd have to be the greatest Act on Impulse of all time. I'm just going to concede. Let's just go to game 2. This deck is so lame. Braid does blow up Chalice, so we probably want those. Goodbye, Chandra. E's good against all their zeros. I don't know if that's something we want to do or not. $63. Probably board. Like, we have enough of our own zeros where I probably don't want to do that plan. Maybe just keep the right in the board. Just swap the 2 Chandras for 2 Braid. Yeah, let's try this out. Alright, so this has a turn 1 Jessica's Will for 7. Let's hope for no Force of Wills. They're mulliganing to 6. Now to 5. This is actually bad for us. They just made my play worse because now I can't empty. Or maybe I can still empty. Okay, so imprint the Abrade. I wonder if Jessica's Will is a card that Belcher could play. Because it's both like a giant seething song that you want to play when your opponent keeps 7. But it's also like an engine piece. Like, this seems like something that Belcher should be playing. Especially when they're running like 4 echoes to refill the opponent's hand too. Did they mold the Force? Mindbreak Trap? Oh my god. This deck's playing Mindbreak Trap? What a joke. Oh, what a joke. I hate this deck so much. The Karn deck with Chalice and it needs Mindbreak Trap on top of Force of Will. It's not a slight to our opponent. I just really don't like the Karn Echo deck. Did they just reveal that they have another Mindbreak Trap in hand? Jeez. So one of my issues with the Karn Echo deck is that it breaks some of the rules of Magic. I feel like your Chalice of the Void deck shouldn't also get to be a combo deck that also gets to play Force of Will. Um, like this deck just it's very high variance, which is why I feel like it gets away with a lot of that. But yeah, it just shouldn't be allowed to. Like it breaks rules of Magic. I feel like, and I'm not saying that things should be banned. I'm not saying that at all. I just don't like that it exists. Fortunately, I have to ship. So one thing I've always felt about Ruby Storm is that all the lists never run enough protection, but also like you're a red combo deck and like none of them ever run Pyroblast, which I feel like is kind of weird. So all of our draw spells have turned off at this point. And they got to do the Breacher combo. And that is enough. I'm going to concede. We have lost round number 1. I apologize if you think that I'm coming across too salty. I just do not like this deck. It's bullshit. Just, it is what it is. But we're 0-1. Let's see if we can win out, turn this into a 4-1. Round number 2, we're back. We're facing SaitoSan, Maverick Legend. We're on the play. Hopefully we get to have some fun this round. This hand is a little bit clunky. It does have a built-in counter for Thalia. I think we're going to try it. Honestly, an Ancient Tomb would have been really nice to have in this hand. All right. Let's kick it off. Unfortunately, we did not draw an accelerant, so we're going to settle for Ruby Medallion. I'm guessing that our opponent, because they kept 7, they have a Thalia hand if I had a bet money. So our game plan is probably going to be to cast Horn. Ooh. Time to party. Let's add a bunch of red mana. This is a pretty easy peer into the abyss. Do we have enough mana to peer and play Horn? So we have 10 mana. So this is going to cost 4, bring us down to 6 mana. This brings us down to 5. This brings us up to 8. Yeah, that math checks out. Hold control. Let's add 3 black. Cast Pier. And from here, it should just be smooth sailing. And I'll make Tony happy. We'll kill a Birds of Paradise with a Chandra, so that way we can say that Chandra did something this league. There, Tony. Chandra, she did something this league. How about that? This can make a bunch of red mana. We have all 4 medallions in play. Just as the the Ruby Medallion gods requested. Our opponent's very nice, just letting us like accidentally BM them here. Yeah. Ruby Storm. That was fun. Way more fun than getting carned. Alright. So, are we supposed to keep in Chandra versus the deck that has Thalia and Getateague in it? That's the real question. The answer is no, I'm sorry. I actually think that we might want to consider boarding out Bergie to some extent. Sorry, I feel like I'm about to sneeze. Excuse me. So the reason is that Bergie is going to get Caracas or Swords down the front half, and the back half is kind of expensive versus the Getateague Thalia deck. We could bring in the fourth right here. I think I'm fine with this, leaving one Bergie. Yeah, let's try this out. And I definitely know that SaitoSan is someone that plays multiple copies of Deafening Silence because they've done it to me. And yeah, so is what it be. This hand seems fine. We have a turn 1 Ruby Medallion. It is a way of getting cards out of your hand, I suppose. Canonist. Very, very rude. I was supposed to play Fiery Islet there. That was a mistake. I'll have time. I can do it next turn. So we have 2 Abrade. We have Burning Wish. There's no Shattering Spree in this board. Or Pulverize, actually. So that's a little weird that there's no Wish target to blow up an artifact. Like, even we play Pulverize. I guess technically there's Fiery Confluence. Yikes. I can actually play Horn here. That might be the best play. So it's going to be tough to kill this Canonist. We can do it with EE. That's our out right now. Because a Braid is going to... Night of Autumn. What a blowout. Jeez. That hurt. E for 2 will kill our Ruby Medallion. I guess I need to keep, like... Yeah, I guess it's weird because the Fire Islet's your only blue source, too. Yeah, maybe EE isn't great because it can't kill a bunch of things. So maybe that's another thing in favor for Ratchet Bomb. I'm just going to concede this game. I'd rather save some... Tony's paying me for my time. I won't concede. This is not a game I would normally keep playing. Like, we're just so unfavored. We can't cast her out. That says that I'm allowed to concede. Oh, wow, we drew a mountain. Okay, let's look at our next few draws. We had nothing down the pipeline, so I feel less bad about conceding. Okay. Game 3, we're on the play. We're going to resubmit the same list. Yeah, all three of these modes also get around... don't get around the Mother of Runes. So that was a little awkward. Pulverize could have gotten around Mother of Runes. Shattering Spree does not. I do like that Tony's sideboard is, you know, reduced. But maybe something like Pulverize could be good in there. Maybe, I don't know if like Ruby Storm's allowed to play it with only 13 lands, with 8 of them being actual mountains. That's something I'm not like completely sold on. And as always, if you want to support this content, you know where to go. TheEpicStorm.com/shop. No Ruby Storm merch there, but there's tons of cool The Epic Storm merch. I personally like the pint glass myself and the Storm 20 baseball tee. All right, Game 3 against the Maverick Legend. We're on the play. Unfortunately, this is not a keep. We have to ship that. We're a mana short of going bananas. We could try to draw that on our draw step. If they have Deafening Silence, we're kind of screwed. Their opponent kept 7. I think I'm just going to ship. I guess I could try to hit a mana off the Manamorphose. If we want to get really risky, I could try to Manamorphose. Alright. Come on, Manamorphose. I mean, they kept 7, so that means that they have Deafening Silence. It's just like how the matchups against SaitoSan go. Come on, deck. Give me that Rite of Flame I boarded in. Ugh. Not the end of the world, because now if we draw a mana on our next turn, we can do something similar. Okay. Give me a mountain right now. Awkward. I guess I could have cast Burning Wish there. We're about to lose to Thalia. No, that doesn't do anything. Sure. Alright, deck. Give me a mountain. That'll do. Alright, so they have 5 cards in hand. Let's cast this Act on Impulse. That's the like one of the nicest things about Ruby Storm is that you can just like plow through this Collector Roof. And I say that and then hit all this. But that's fine. We can still empty for a bunch. They do have a black source in play, so it's a little bit risky. I could reforge the soul. Or Past in Flames, actually. This might be a good game for Past in Flames. So, yeah, let's do Piff. I regret making that blue mana already. We're not hardcasting Echo. What are we at? Storm 13. We need storm count here, so I guess it's pretty free for me to cast this Act on Impulse first. Because if mana ends up being the bottleneck, I get the choice with Jessica's Will. Legend roll out or Mox Opals. What, like, by far my favorite thing about this deck is that you just get this, like, crush Collector Roof. Normally when you look at the version with, like, these artifacts, that's less true, but it still happened. For good measure, let's pretend that we're going to kill Mother of Ruins. And we'll just end it. I guess they could have a Mindbreak Trap. Nice. So we're now 1-1. We've began our climb back. Let's see if we can finish this strong with the 4-1. And we're back. Round number 3. Our opponent's playing I don't know what. But this hand seems fine. We're going to keep this. Who knows? We might get lucky and have a turn 2 Chandra Awakened Inferno. Alright, our opponent is on Death Shadow. Maybe this is the round where Chandra finally gets to shine. Thoughtseize. That hurts. Our opponent just said that they're going to have to read our cards. I don't know if that's an insult or not. I'm going to pretend that it's not. We're definitely playing like a Chandra family themed deck if you think about it. Act on Impulse has Chandra's face on it. Jessica, isn't that like Chandra's mom? Or like grandma or something in the storyline? I don't know. They chose to take Seething Song. That hurt. Clearly should have been Mountain number 9. That was sarcasm. Petal's a good draw. So we could Jessica's Will to make 4 mana, and that doesn't do a whole lot. I might just pass. We were getting slaughtered. We have infinite rituals. But we do not have infinite time. Alright, I would like to draw Ancient Tomb. The reason I say Ancient Tomb is that it plays through days. Alright, so our opponent's representing lethal now. Chandra, I'm sorry, but the best thing you can do is imprint a Chrome Mox. Alright, so we have lost game number 1 to Death Shadow. Sorry. Like, I know, like, Tony made a joke about me boarding it out every round. But, like, it's really tough to justify boarding or keeping in Chandra against the deck with... Like, they're just going to go after our rituals. Like, this spell is never going to do anything meaningful. We might be able to keep in 1. I definitely want to board in the Rite of Flame, though. I know that for sure. Like, this seems like a good matchup for Defense Grid. Maybe, like, skim on and act on impulse. Let's try this out. Sure. We're just going to jam a turn 1 grid. It is one nice thing about Ruby Storm is, like, Liz should probably be maximizing these in the board, like, just run 4 grid in the board. I'd like to see that. And if that resolved, I'm guessing there's a Thoughtseize coming my way. Like, it would just make sense that if they didn't have Force, they kept a hand with Thoughtseize. See you, Bergie. Surgical? Okay. I mean, there are 3 more Bergies in there. Okay. Jessica's Will was a decent draw. Let's cycle this Morpho, see if we can hit anything good. I think I'm just going to pass here. Like, we could Jessica's Will for 5 and then Jessica's Will for the other mode. The issue with doing that is that you don't have a whole lot of mana to work with. Alright, so they have 4 cards in hand now. Maybe I wasn't supposed... Yeah, I wasn't supposed to play my land, I guess. Shame on me. Alright. I could cast Jessica's Will again. I think that's a mistake. I just lost out on 2 mana. I don't know why I decided to start that turn on a land. It was just a mistake. Alright, so we're taking 5. We could be dead next turn. No point in sacrificing the LEDs in response because you can see what you exile and then make a decision. And all mana. Alright, so we're praying to draw well. Burning Wish of Fear would win the game. Echo would be an okay draw. They're representing having Force in hand. And Bright of Flame's not going to do it. Neither would Chandra at this point. But we're 1-2, unfortunately. We're just going to try to bounce back. Stay optimistic. Keep on trying to play better than that missed land right there. That said, I don't think the land ultimately mattered. But let's finish strong and see what we can do. Okay, round 4. We're on the draw. This hand seems pretty good. We're going to try it out. Uh-oh. Could this be it? Could this be the match for Chandra? Come on, blue-white control. Come on, please resolve. This is -1 mana on Chandra. That's all we're here for is Chandra memes, right? -1 turn on Chandra. Are they playing like Omnitel? So we're screwed. Oh no, it is Omnitel. Oh, it's Uro? Okay. This is also bad for Chandra. We are all in on Chandra. We can't have our opponent playing Uros. So Chandra costs 6. So 3, 4, 5, 6. We could play Chandra. Look at that. Turn 3, hardcast Chandra. Alright, Tony. I hope this made your money worthwhile. We accomplished your dream. My saltiness attitude in the first match has finally come around, and everything is worth it. I just really hate Karn. It's such a trash card. Can I target? I'm pretty sure it's like only creatures. Yeah, creatures and planeswalkers. So I don't want to cast spells because it fills their graveyard for the Uro. Because like if I cast spells and they counter them, like they're getting closer to escaping. And our opponent is conceded to Chandra. Shame concede. All right, Tony. I will not board out Chandra this round just for you. We will be boarding these defense grids, though. In these sort of matchups with TS, I do like to board out a few artifacts. I also don't mind bringing in something like the Empty to help just be counter spells. Let's try this. And as always, if you haven't done it already, go to the description, follow our social network, join the Storm community. It's a great place. TonyScapone's definitely a part of it. Tony loves to talk Ruby Storm in our Discord channel, which is in the links below. You can ask Tony questions directly about this list, future lists, etc. Okay, we're going to try this. Ooh, fun fact. The front half of Bergie is not an artifact, so you can print it. The back half is, unlike Wishclaw Talisman. If I get force spiked here for not playing out the Chromox first, I will not be happy. But instead, we get to Echo. Love Defense Grid. I really do think that there should be probably like more copies because like this uses grid better than TES does. By being able to play it on turn 1 using Ancient Tunes. We're just going to hold these in our hand. They are Storm Count for Empty if we happen to draw it. Or if we draw Bergie, they're cards that we could use to discard to further the Storm. Alright, we want to draw an action spell here. I would take the Empty. Alright, I think we win this. We get to cast Peer. Tony's inclusion of Peer is interesting because it's an I win button in TES, but Ruby Storm actually makes more mana, which makes a lot of sense to include it if that's the case. And now it's just smooth sailing. Woo woo! Choo choo! That was an enjoyable round. Let's see if we can get the last one. The final match. Match number 5 with TonyScapone's Epic Ruby Storm, as Tony calls it. Here we've opened up a hand that is capable of a turn 1 empty. You know me. It's hard for me to turn down empties. I'm going to keep it. I have no clue what our opponent's playing. It might be great, it might be awful, but we're going to jam. And here, Bergie's front half not being an artifact is relevant. Long pause on Lotus Petal. It's not normally a card people don't pause on. Crack for blue. Make them think that we might be echoing. And then we hit him with the surprise Goblin Horde. Is 10 goblins enough? And our opponent has conceded out of shame. Shame. Alright. So I'm just going to hit submit. I don't know what our opponent's playing. There's no point in boarding, to be completely honest. So I'm just not going to. But while we wait, I'm going to chill for a second. If you haven't picked up your Storm tokens from the epicstorm.com/shop, I recommend doing so. You get 54 mini tokens. Unfortunately, with Ruby Storm, you're only going to be able to use about 30 of them on average. But you get 54 overall. You get 20 Storm, 10 red, 10 black, 6 blue, and 3 of the remaining ones. You get 54 Goblin tokens. You get a Goblin token on each back. You get 6 of each, which means that huge empty we just cast, you just flip those bad boy tokens right over, use those, and they are in fact mini. Alright, enough shilling. We're on the draw for game number 2. We've opened up a hand where if we draw Chromox, we have a turn 2 Hardcast Chandra. Let's do it. It seems a little bit risky. I'd also take an Ancient Tomb here. Once Upon a Time for Elvish Reclaimer. So maybe Depths or Elves. There's the Reclaimer. Ancient Tomb. Not Ancient Tomb. A little surprised they conceded to an empty for 10. I feel like this deck, Elves can race an empty for 10. But if we can ever cast this Chandra, it's going to be sweet. Punished. Punished by my bad keep. No, they use a Reclaimer. Rex Sage on my Opal that doesn't do anything, sure. Oh, my bad. They needed another land in the graveyard for sacking that to matter. I guess I can discard Echo here. No, that's wrong. Because they probably have a Bazooka Bog in their Reclaimer deck. I'm really getting punished for that keep. Ancient Tomb is still our best draw. If we draw an Ancient Tomb, we can play Chandra. You do that by casting Tomb, or tapping Tomb to cast Ruby Medallion, Morphos into Seething Song and a Chandra. It's Cloudpost? I did not see that coming. Okay. So, they probably have Mind Breaks in their hand. So I'm going to need to board in Defense Grid. Game 3. Sorry, Chandra. This matchup wasn't meant for you. Do I want to board in a Braid? Probably not. Let's try this. So empty's off the table. We have a turn 1 grid. I don't know if we want that, though. I'm going to keep it. I think I'm going to play it slow. I'm just going to play turn by turn, because I don't think I want to imprint the will. It is our action spell. And this isn't like a super fast deck. Defense Grid does shut off Force of Vigor, which is a card this deck plays. Burning Wish is a good draw. Alright, I'm going to imprint the Jessica's Will. We're 1 mana short next turn of Burning Wish to Reforge the Soul. This is an older card. Like, that isn't in most lists anymore, I don't think. I could be wrong. I feel like I just haven't seen it in a while. So this seems like a good spot for Reforge, but I just want to make sure that's what we want to be doing here. Yeah, I think so. They had a Mind Break. So we can Rite of Flame Morphos here, go up to 3 mana. I think it's worth trying to win here. Our opponent's shields are down, so they can't Force of Vigor or Mind Break at the moment. So I can act on Impulse or Storm. Right now, we just don't have enough 2 Tendrils for lethal quite yet. Cannot cast your Mindbreak Trap when I have a Defense Grid in play. I know that I mentioned that... Ooh, that was a really good act on Impulse. I know that I mentioned that I'd like to see more Defense Grids. I don't think there's room in the board for all of those. So, in my opinion, as funny as Chandra's been this league, I think that those would probably be good as grids. And then you could play 2 more on the board. That'd probably be pretty good. Alright, so now we just have lethal. Sectus LED for triple black, and then Tendrils. But not before you cast this Burning Wish. Because you can. Alright, so we got the 3-2. Thank you to Tony for donating for this donation deck list. Why not? Let's open up the chest for Tony. Do I have to scroll up? Alright, open. And Tony got us a Daybreak Ranger, limited all-star. So thank you, Tony, for your Daybreak Ranger. Let's go over the deck list once again. The Fiery Islet didn't really come up that much. It does give you a blue mana for your explosives, which is kind of cute. I kind of forgot that Opal and Petal could also give you those. I don't know if Explosives is better than Ratchet Bomb. It certainly was more awkward that one game. Fiery Islet did get hit by Wasteland, which was unfortunate, because I feel like we were in that game until that happened. But then again, like, that could just be a corner case scenario. I like the Opal and the Chrome Mox. I'd like to see the 4th Rite of Flame in the main deck. That is a change I would like to see, which opens up a board slot. Act on Impulse was certainly better than Light Up the Stage. For Bergie, I don't know if you need. I do think it's really sweet that I did not consider this, that you can discard Echo to Bergie. Like, that is really awesome. The Chandras, I've expressed my thoughts on those. Like, I think one of those could be Rite of Flame, the other could be a grid, and then I'd like to see another grid in the main deck somewhere. I do think the board could probably use something like Shattering Spree or Pulverize, but I'm not sure over what. The Pier was great. I think more decks could probably be playing Pier. The Rite of Flame does open up a board slot for that artifact destruction slot. I don't know, like, everything seemed fairly good. Like, Tony's list is certainly almost there. Like, in my opinion, it's pretty close to optimal. Just needs a few adjustments here or there. The rubies from community, love you guys, but you tend to suggest a lot of memes, and I'm someone that just wants to win. So a little bit less memes would be more ideal for me. I just want to play the most competitive thing possible. I know that's boring, but that's who I am. I'm a boring old man. So yeah, hopefully Tony found this to be worthwhile. And thank you to everyone for watching. Take care and have a good night. Hey, Brian Cook here. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, but also follow the social media channels down below. If you want to support this content directly, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/shop. And if you need a little bit of assistance with the Epic Storm to get to that next level, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/tutoring. Don't worry, there's more great content coming right up.